Hey there, it's Jen Vax with YourColorStyle.com. Have you ever put on a red top and just felt off, but you're not exactly sure why? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you how different shades of red can align or not align with your natural coloring and tone. So we're going to talk a little bit about color theory and a little bit about color harmony, and hopefully this will help you start to identify what your absolute best shade of red is and what might just be okay, and most importantly, the reasons why. So let me just dive in very quickly with some color theory. We use the modern color wheel at Your Color Style. And what that means is instead of a color wheel made with red, yellow, and blue like you've been taught in school, we make the color wheel with magenta, yellow, and cyan, just like when you think of CMYK or a 4 inkjet printer. So magenta, cyan, and yellow are the three primary colors that we use to make our color wheel because every color can be made with those three colors. So magenta and cyan are considered cool colors, and yellow is considered a warm color. And fun fact, an equal mix of magenta and yellow produces true red. Now I know on this wheel, this red is not evenly in between the yellow and magenta, but that's for some other reasons. But if you were to mix magenta and yellow evenly, you would get true red. So let me break this down a little bit more for you. This is the true red right in the middle. Now this is very bright. This is very pure colors, so it's might look a little bright on your screen. But as you add yellow to it, it starts to get warmer, like we have like a tomato color, and start going into the oranges. And if you add a little bit more magenta to it, you can see we start to get to cool reds and then to cool pinks. And if that's a little bit hard for you to translate because it's so bright, I went ahead and softened them just a little bit with white so that you can kind of see the colors a little bit easier. So this is the top row is a little bit lighter and the bottom row is just a little bit darker, just to take that edge off. And you can see that this even is probably more realistic of colors and clothing that you might see in the stores. It's not always you're going to see something so bright. So this little bit of a darker version gives you a red and then a cool red, which starts to look a little on the blue side. All right, so now with that in mind, let's take a look at some examples. So I used myself in the first example. Well, just because. And I have warm undertones, and so I have this sweater on, and you can maybe see like this swatch here is basically this true red with just a little bit of white. So it's right here. It's a pretty balanced red, and I think it looks pretty good. It's very harmonious on me. As we start to add more magenta to the sweater, it starts to become less and less harmonious. So when I say harmonious, I'm looking for colors that are in your color family of your tones. I have warm undertones, so I look best in yellow-based colors. So the less and less yellow in the color, the less flattering it becomes. And you can see here that it almost looks like the photo's been adjusted because I'm starting to look a little bit grayed out here. And it's because we've lost a lot of that yellow that I need to balance me out. So you can see here that this is just too cool and this looks just right. Now, at first, like we started out pretty on the warm side, even though it's fairly balanced. And then slightly cooler is not bad. That one seems to be okay too, but this is about where I feel like it starts to not look very flattering, and that doesn't look that way at all. So I hope you can see the difference there. But there are other ways to also consider if a color is right for you. And that would also be with the depth, how dark or light a color is, the value of it. I'm fairly light, so colors like this or a little lighter are really ideal for me. But if we went darker, it's okay, but we're already getting out of my ideal range. Again, we're looking for our best colors, our best red, not okay. And if we go even darker, it's even less flattering. It looks like almost like a floating head. It's just too dark for me. And again, as you can compare the two, where it's dark on one side and just just bright or slightly less than, this is much more flattering and harmonious with me. Again, we're looking for our best. And then the last thing to consider is the chroma. How clear and pure the color is versus muted or grayed. So this is a pretty clear color. The only thing that's happened is we added a little bit of white to lighten it up a little bit. So if we start to soften it, at muting it, graying it, we start to get a very different kind of color. In this case, it starts to look pink, and it's a very soft, muted pink. Now, this isn't bad. This isn't like offensive if I wore a color like this. But as we go more gray, it starts to almost drain me, and I look brighter than the top. So for my best, this original sweater that I had shared with you is absolutely the best for me. So let's take a different person altogether. This person, she has cool undertones. So I started out with the exact same sweater. I literally cut it off my photo and put it on her. And I hope you can see this is not flattering on her at all. It doesn't do anything for her. It's just it looks very orange on her. And as we go cooler, we're already better. This is already better. The more magenta and the less yellow. People with cool undertones tend to not look great in colors that are heavy in yellow or that are made with a lot of yellow. We want less and less yellow, a little bit more magenta to cool down that color. So you can see here, like even though we've now gone to pink, we're no longer really in the red. This is about the cool red here. This is the pink. But wow, what a difference. What a difference. So she can try to find a cool red, not this red. This is entirely too warm, but look at just how beautiful and harmonious that cool pink is with her cool skin. It brings out the pinks in her skin. This brings out the yellow in her skin. And it looks like they're two different photos, but they're the exact same photo. All right, so as we know, the temperature is one important factor to finding your best red, but so is the darkness or lightness. So she has very different tones than I do. She's got some very dark tones in her hair, eyebrows. Her eyes are actually not as dark as they seem. They're very dark blue. But in general, though, she's got a little bit of a balance of both light and dark here. But if we go lighter, it's not her best. It's okay. It's okay because it's in the right temperature. But you can see how she comes much more alive with some vibrancy. She needs some presence with her color. This is looking a little bit less, but it's not bad. It's just this is better. And then if we play with the darkness, if we go darker, I love her in this. This seems to add in a little bit of contrast that she may used to have with her darker hair and her dark eyebrows. I personally love her in this darker color, definitely more than the light color here. This is just beautiful because her range of colors is medium to deep, even though she has this very light hair. So these darker colors to the bright, really, really flattering on her. Now, if we'd go to mute her colors, graying them, it's not so bad. This isn't bad at all. Just a little bit isn't wrong. But this goes a little bit too much. And now you can start to see she even looked a little grayer as soon as we did that. So you can see like the difference. She really lights up with these colors. So she needs a little bit of presence, a little bit of saturation in her colors, and going a little bit darker is even better for her. So that's, even though we've kind of gone pink, but that's her best. And sometimes you might discover that between red and pink, you might prefer the pink better. So there you go. So to recap, when you're looking for your best shade of red, consider the temperature and your undertones. If you have warm undertones, you're going to want colors that are a little bit more yellow based. And if you have cool undertones, you want that red leaning cool with a little bit more magenta in it. And then pay attention to how light, medium, or dark your features are, and if you can handle those bright tones or if you need something a little bit softer. So now that you've seen how red changes with undertone and depth, you might be wondering, how do I know exactly which red is right for me? This is where a signature color analysis makes all the difference. Instead of guessing or wasting money on clothes and makeup that don't quite work, you'll get a customized color palette designed just for you. You'll get up to 20 of your best colors, including your perfect reds. And it's not just about red. This will help you create a wardrobe full of colors that make you feel confident, put together, and radiant. Wearing the right colors takes you from looking okay to looking wow. And once you see the difference, there is no going back. So if you're ready to stop the color confusion and discover the shades that truly make you shine, click the link below to get your signature color analysis today. Visit yourcolorstyle.com/color. And I can't wait to help you find your best colors. Thanks for watching. I'm Jen Vax.